Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Before taking your questions, I wish to highlight a few points. I informed the board that preparations for the agency's first international conference on climate change and the role of nuclear power in October are well underway. The latest special report by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, entitled Global Warming of 1.5 Celsius, underlines the need to substantially expand the contribution of nuclear power to climate change mitigation. The IAEA WHO Dosimetry Audit Service for Radiotherapy Facilities celebrates its 50th anniversary this year. It has made a great contribution to improving treatment quality and patient safety. Last month, I issued a report entitled Agency-Wide Support to Cancer Control. It outlines a new unified approach to cancer control led by my office, which I believe will enable us to be more effective in helping countries improve access to radiotherapy and nuclear medicine. The IAEA Scientific Forum in September will take stock of the agency's achievements in cancer control in the past decade. Ladies and gentlemen, I informed the board that Iran is implementing its nuclear-related commitments under the JCPOA. It is essential that Iran continues to fully implement those commitments. The agency continues to verify the non-diversion of nuclear material declared by Iran under its safeguard agreement. Evaluations regarding the absence of undeclared nuclear material and activities in Iran continue. In implementing verification activities in Iran, the agency analyzes all safeguard-relevant information, which normally takes time, and takes action when appropriate. We undertake analysis and take action in an impartial, independent, and objective manner within the existing safeguards framework and in line with established safeguards practice. The agency has continued to monitor the nuclear program of North Korea using open source information and satellite imagery. In my statement, I detailed some of our recent observations concerning activities in Yongbyon. We have not observed any indication of the operation of 5 megawatt reactor since early December 2018, nor any indication of reprocessing activities in the radiochemical laboratory. At the light water reactor, the agency saw indications of ongoing construction work. We also continue to observe indications of ongoing use of the reported centrifuge enrichment facility. However, without access, the agency cannot confirm the nature and purpose of these activities. The IAEA continues to closely follow international developments on the DPRK nuclear issue. We hope that these progress will lead to an agreement and to implementation of concrete denuclearization measures. We are ready to undertake verification and monitoring activities in the DPRK if a political agreement is reached among countries concerned. Finally, I asked our 171 member states to agree a modest real increase in the IAEA budget for 2020-2021 so we can meet growing demand for our services. I now will be happy to take your questions.
Any questions? Please identify yourself. Yes. Hi, Nilufar Ibrahim from Iran International. Actually, my first question is going to be about what you said right now about the nuclear medicine and also helping countries in radiotherapy, in treatment of the cancer. How are you going to help Iran in this case regarding the U.S. sanction and in the medicine, nuclear medicine? The other question is about the PMD in Iran's case. Is there any possibility that the IAEA going to open that process again?
First question is in that we are now reforming the PACT program for action for cancer therapy division, and we are taking one house approach to assist countries to strengthen nuclear therapy and nuclear medicine. And in that framework, we are willing to help any country to address the difficulties. On the PMD issues, there was a resolution until the end of 2015, and I do not speculate anything for the future. We are now tasked to monitor and verify the JCPOA, I mean the nuclear-related commitments made by Iran, and we are monitoring and verifying its implementation. So for the PMD issues, I do not speculate.
Any other questions?
Hello, Homolensky from Press TV. My first question regards your comments that you made in late January, and I'll quote, you said that if attempts are made to micromanage or put pressure on the agency in nuclear verification, that's counterproductive. Am I correct in assuming that this relates to the issue of verification in Iran? And if so, can you give us any kind of elaboration? Also, if I may, Mr. Araghchi from Iran had a meeting with you also during that time, and he said that one of the issues that he discussed with you concerned some kind of pressure on the agency or efforts to manipulate Iran's cooperation with the agency. If you could just make some comments about that. Thank you.
During my reception in January, I touched upon the micromanagement and the need to avoid micromanagement. But I did not have any country or any individual or any issue specific in mind. This is rather a general statement. I believe that the credibility of the IAEA is a very strong asset. And we can maintain this credibility only when we operate in an impartial, independent, and objective manner. And there has been clear demarcation of work that our policy-making organ, Board of Governors, is in charge of political issues, and the IAEA is, Secretariat is in charge of implementation. So I sensed that from time to time, it is useful to remind this historical demarcation of work. And regarding the meeting with Mr. Araghchi, it is the practice of the IAEA not to disclose the content of the diplomatic exchange.
DG, it's Kensuke Obara from NHK. Sir, I have two questions. The first question is, what is your thoughts regarding the outcome of the recent USDPRK summit, and has your prospects risen or lowered of the IAEA's, I would say, role in the denuclearization process?
The meeting between Chairman Kim Jong-un and President Trump is a political meeting. and we do not intervene in political issues. And we are in charge of verification and monitoring when we are requested. So we have been following this development very closely. We expect that agreement will be reached and concrete steps will be taken. But other than that, we don't have any observation or comments.
Sir, my second follow-up, I'm sorry.
Yes,
if
second
possible.
what?
A follow-up question is that after the summit, the DPRK high official actually made a press conference, and he clearly stated that regarding Yeonbyung, they were ready to collaborate with the U.S. government experts or U.S. experts for, I would say, the denuclearization process. It seems that they weren't really clearly mentioning about the IAEA, but what is your, I would say, assessment on this comment?
We have not heard directly, and the agreement was not reached, so it's difficult for me to comment. There was no agreement, and I haven't heard anything directly, so it's difficult to comment. But it is my view that any nuclear-related commitments need to be verified. And if nuclear-related commitments needs to be verified, the IAEA is best placed to verify and monitor such commitments as the only multilateral verification body in the world.
Jonathan Tyrone with Bloomberg News. DG Amano, we've seen reports that Saudi Arabia has laid the cornerstone for its first research reactor and is pursuing the extraction of uranium from phosphate. What is the status of safeguards in the kingdom, and has it rescinded its small quantities protocol with the agency or begun to negotiate an additional protocol?
We have the safeguard agreement between Saudi Arabia and IAEA, and it is the small quantity protocol based on the old text. I am appealing all the countries to rescind or amend the small quantity protocol based on the latest one.
And just to follow up to that then, yes. Given the country's declaration last year that it could pursue nuclear weapons, how is the IAEA shielding its technical cooperation from proliferation concerns? And along that line, would an additional protocol be necessary before the agency assists Saudi Arabia to produce nuclear materials that it wouldn't necessarily need in a turnkey reactor purchased from abroad?
We are recommending all the countries to conclude and implement additional protocol, and all the countries, of course, include Saudi Arabia. And for the time being, we have the safeguard agreement between Saudi Arabia and IAEA, and nuclear material placed under IAEA Saudi Arabia safeguard agreement stay in peaceful purpose.
But, sorry, you didn't answer the question. How does that impact technical cooperation when it comes to requesting assistance for the extraction of uranium from phosphates, which the Saudis have said specifically they want to accomplish, and which is something specifically that the IAEA offers technical assistance to perform? Is the IAEA open to helping Saudi Arabia currently extract uranium from phosphate in the absence of an additional protocol?
To be frank, I'm not aware of that specific project, but my general knowledge is that that is not subject to the implementation of the additional protocol.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Yes.
Setsuko Inaki with Nippon TV. In the opening remarks, you mentioned a couple of activities that you have observed since November, and among them was the activities around reported Rhenium facility. Can you clarify that the IAEA in the past has reported 2 sites? In October report, for the first time, I believe that you also mentioned through the open source uranium enrichment facility near Yongbyon. And of course, there's a uranium enrichment facility in Yongbyon as well. So near Pyongyang and then near Yongbyon. Now, when you talk about this today's statement, which facility are you referring
Yongbyon.
to? Okay, the one in Yongbyon. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Albert Otti, DPA, German Press Agency. A follow-up, has the IAEA observed anything at the other suspected enrichment facility outside of Yongbyon?
As I reported in my report in August, last August, the IAEA agency has evaluated all safeguard relevant information, including satellite imagery and open source information about a group of buildings within the security perimeter in the vicinity of Pyongyang. The size of the main building and the characteristics of the associated infrastructure are not inconsistent with a centrifuge enrichment facility. And the timeline of construction is not inconsistent with the reported uranium enrichment program of the DPRK. We'll continue to gather and evaluate information of this location. But for the time being, I have nothing to add to what I said in August report.
Any other questions? Thank you very much for coming.
Diesmal mehr, oder?